So, Canon M50s, it's easy to do time lapses because there's a function right in the camera. So for starters, we'll put the camera on video, on auto, not manual, just for this one. And then you go to the menu, I think it's number 1 under the red, the very first menu, and at the very bottom it says time-lapse movie. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to set it at 4 seconds per shot. And this one I'm going to set it just for sake of experiment. Okay, time-lapse, enable, scene 1, and I'm going to go down to 1 second. So now what I want you guys to do is to head up there into those trees. We're going to go right up on top, okay? And so I've got you time-lapsed here, and then we're going to look at what the difference is between 1 frame every 4 seconds and 1 frame every 1 second. Okay? So you guys just go on ahead, single file, straight up this trail. Okay? Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. So it's probably time to start shooting. You got your camera open, Pug? Okay, not yet. Oh, here, bring it down here first. We'll have a look at it. Okay, camera's on video, on automatic. Okay, and then go to menu. And number 1. Time-lapse movie. Okay, down at the bottom. Yeah, okay, now you click on that. Now go to scene 1. Okay, click on that. Okay, now. Okay, here's the deal, guys. 3 seconds per shot is a fairly fast moving for the sun and the clouds. So you could try it on 2. I'm going to do 1 on 4 and 1 on 1. Okay, here's where the mathematics comes in. Normally, how many frames do we shoot in a second? 30 frames per second or 24 frames per second, right, for cinematic? Okay, so normally on video, you're taking 30 shots every second. It's going to take the sun how long to go down? 30 minutes? 30 minutes is how many seconds? So if we're going to do the math on this, and you think the sun's going to set over a period of, say, 30 minutes, 30 minutes times 60 is 1800 seconds, and if you shoot at 4 seconds per frame, that's going to give you 450 frames in 30 minutes or in 1800 seconds. And if you play that back at 30 frames per second, you're going to get 15 seconds of video. So here you've got the wonderful Canon M50 that we've set at 4 seconds per frame. And it's going to take 900 shots before it stops. It has a built-in calculator. So if you go to 450 shots, what have you got? 15 seconds of playtime. All right, and the sun is going to go down in 29 minutes and 56 seconds, right? Or basically 30 minutes. So you can do the math yourself, which we used to have to do back in the olden days, you know. Or the Canon M50 has a built-in calculator. Screen auto off. You want to enable that. That'll turn the screen off so that it doesn't wear the battery out.
Camera 1. Here's your camera 2. Camera 3, 4, camera 5, camera 6.
Yeah, don't kick it over the edge, whatever you do.
Make me nervous.
Don't move the leaves.
Now, all we have to do when you're taking a time lapse is should bring some cookies or something.
Okay.
And, you know, yeah, and enjoy it. So how do you like my mountain?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
It's cool, isn't it?
So cool.
I don't feel like I'm dying anymore.
Can we come
So-
here every day?
Well, we could. You see the lighthouse from here?
Yeah, it's right there.
Right there. Isn't that something? We could almost do a zip line, guys. So I've chopped the trail up to here, and then I was going to keep chopping over the top and down the other side, because I think, you know, and I've taken some aerial shots of it to see what's there, and it would be really cool. So
What happened to the other one?
sunsets are much easier than sunrises. And normally what I would do is I would set my camera on manual exposure so that as the sun went down, the picture would get darker. But we're on automatic right now, so as the sun goes down, the camera's going to adjust itself and brighten the scene, right? So you're actually going to still see the city and that kind of stuff. But if you want to do a really classy one, you do it on manual and you set your light so that it just looks good in the shot. But the problem is then when you go to do a sunrise, it's backwards. You're starting in the dark and you don't know where to set the light unless you've done a lot of it, right? Or maybe you write down the measurements tonight and then we stay up here all night, and then in the morning we use the same measurement, right? As the sun comes up, and it comes up right over there, of course. The trick is to figure out how many seconds per frame. Okay, so I got that camera set on 4 seconds per frame, this camera set on 1 second. Pung's is set on 2 seconds, right? Yours is on 2 seconds. And then we'll be able to notice the difference. If you've got nice clouds, then you'll get like the rays shooting up and bouncing off the clouds, and that all changes as the clouds are going by. This one's going to be fairly boring, so it's mostly just an experiment. So if you've got things like traffic, you got to figure out how many frames you want or how many seconds you want a frame to go by there, and it's all different. Like if it's someone running, I don't know, maybe a frame every second. If it's the clouds and stuff and you want the sky to really go fast, do a frame every 10 seconds. Right? And then when you put it together, it's just zooming. And it's really cool because when you're looking at the sky, you don't see the movement. But when you do the time lapse, you actually see the clouds, the direction that they're going. So you'll do one like that and it'll be like lots of clouds and stuff, and you realize the clouds are going that way. Next time they're coming this way, next time they're going that way. It's really cool. Like you get some really cool effects and you really don't know ahead of time what you're going to get. The reason that I wanted to get us going on time lapses is because we've got the next couple of projects, though it would just go really good if we had some really dramatic, beautiful, just cityscapes and landscapes and that kind of stuff, you know, and just put it together. We got so many cool things that we can shoot. You know, maybe one day we'll take a trip out to Sichang and on the ferry 45 minutes out, and then, you know, take shots and stuff. But of course we get all of our good shots right now. I mean, look at the color of the skin on these guys. Get a shot of that, Care. Just point right over there. But look at them, they look like movie stars, right? Especially Taylor. That golden hour in the morning and that golden hour in the evening is when we get our really nice shots. And take a little pan of the city too. Like down there, it's starting to, the street lights are starting to come on, and that's all gonna change. I did that time lapse up on that other mountain with the sun going down and then the lights on the city coming up, and pretty soon you can see the cars, the lights of the cars going by and stuff. It's very cool. So I think one of the issues right here is we got mountains. If we go to that other mountain and do some sunsets, which we could. It would be fun. We go up to take supper up there and do it, right? And then, but the sun sets right over the ocean, so you get the whole thing, right? Yeah, right down. Yeah, it's good. Look at it, it's going right down on that peak of that mountain, eh? Yeah. Anyway, any questions about time lapse?
What would be your advice to do like stars and like moon and stuff? Do you need specific lenses for that, or do you need like a lighting or? No,
you need to get away from city lights because of the light pollution, right? It's bouncing back off the dust in the air. Yeah. So you could do that up north, and I've done some up there. And you want a really wide angle lens normally for that, right? Because you want a wide. So I've done some with that camera with the 10 millimeter lens, which is really wide. and you get the whole sky going by, and it's beautiful, right? I mean, you've seen them, right? It kind of turns and kind of travels, and I've done some with our tent in the background, just a little bit of light in the tent, you know, so it looks really cool. With a camera like that one, that 70D, you actually have to have an external trigger. But now with these, they're built in, so it's just so easy right now. You know that bridge that crosses, like near the tower there, across the Sukhumvit Road, where all those wires came down the other week? I've gone up on top of there and done time lapses of the traffic, and done it coming down one road and going the other, so actually panned it. And so you take about, you know, 3 minutes to pan it really slowly with a good tripod like that. It actually turned out not too bad, considering it's pretty Mickey Mouse. But, you know, I mean, it's worth trying some of those things, right, to see what kind of variations we can get. One thing I've learned about sunsets is that you can take a time lapse of the sun going down and then just be patient. And once the sun is down, it starts throwing that orange light up on anything that's in the sky. And then the orange comes out again. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't so tucked down in there, it would be really cool to do a time lapse with the reflection in the water, right? But we've got too much stuff behind it. But I got some at Kanchanaburi, I'll show you. They're very cool.
All right, who wants to test it out?
Well,
Taylor?
I'd want to have a rope around somebody, you know, in case some big critter grabs you. No, you can't wait, eh? I did that one, the first one on the mountain. I thought it takes me 15 minutes to get up there. I went at 5 o'clock and I ran. I think I made it up there in 10 minutes.
Oh wow.
And just, I missed it. Is it 6:03?
Yep.
Now that is beautiful, isn't it? Look at that.
My phone said the sun would set at 6:14.
Okay, if we were flat,
6:03.
if we were flat, it would, if we're looking at the ocean.
Oh.
So, that's it for time lapse. And it's the simplest thing as ever on the Canon M50. And it really adds a whole nother dimension to your shots. And so it's totally worth it. I mean, you can learn how to do that in 3 minutes. And then you do a few experiments. You know, experiment just on clouds going by. That's what I did. You can learn a lot just doing that, get a feel for what you want to set for speeds. But yeah, time lapses, man, tell you what, they are just so dramatic and so awe-inspiring. So catch you next time on something other than a time lapse.